All right, it's another episode of the Cedric Maxwell Podcast. I'm Josue Pavon alongside Cedric Maxwell. It's been a crazy week in the NBA, so let's get right into it, man. We got the Boston Celtics fell to the Golden State Warriors. You're going to have to give me the scoop on that one, Mac, because I didn't catch the whole game because I was too busy watching OKC, the Thunder, pick up their first loss of the season after a historic start. We'll also talk about that. And, of course, what's going on down in Philly with Joel Embiid and his 3-game suspension. But first, man, fill me in on what happened against the Warriors, man. Looks like Steph Curry had one of his classic shooting performances at TD Garden. You had Derek White going off from deep as well. Jayson Tatum had an impressive stat line, but I guess it wasn't enough, man. What happened?
Well, I think that there was a combination of things. They put a lot of pressure on Tatum early in the basketball game. They were being very physical, knocking him around, knocking him off the ball. So they had to have other people scoring. Without Jaylen Brown, who has missed again another game for abductor or something strain.
Third game, right? 3 consecutive?
Yeah, that he's missed another game. And then not having Porzingis. Porzingis is practicing right now, I think, just doing one-on-one stuff. So you miss the troops. And then the biggest thing, I think, that Drew Holiday, who's been so consistent from the three-point line, was 0 for 6 last night from the three-point line. So you have the combination of things, and the Celtics still have the opportunity to win the basketball game. They got back in it, they tied it, and then Steph Curry became Steph Curry, and it was just hard to stop him at the end. And not having Kada played really well, gave him inside presence. Al in the second half. So there were some things that happened. But it was a good game, a game that was winnable for the Celtics. But it just shows you that, what you have to do in this league, especially when you're playing with the top tier teams.
Is Kada in Al? Is that it at the center position right now? Because I know Luke Cornett exited. He left the game against the Warriors. I don't know how severe the injury is, but it's getting really thin up front. No?
Yeah, he said hamstring, tightness in the hamstring. Okay. So he will be probably evaluated, and he won't be available for a while. So they are getting thin. They're getting very thin. So it's going to be a little area here that they have to kind of get through. I tell you one thing I've thought about, and let me give a shout out to a couple of people right now who listen to our podcast. I see you on the road. You guys come up to me. There was a young woman in Atlanta the other day who played. She came up and she was like, "Oh my God, I listen to your podcast all the time." Man, kudos to you people who listen to our podcast. You only make us stronger, man. We have a great time with you. And whenever you see me on the road or if you want to contact me, hit me up. I'm at Cedric Maxwell at Comcast.net. So you guys have done a great job of making us strong as a network. And we got some surprises coming up for you that you guys are really going to like. So anyway, that was good. That's what I wanted to give. But you kind of hit me with a story. Yeah, you hit me with a story the other day. We had a guest on Chuck D. And you told me a Chuck D story, and I was like, what happened? So I'll let you tell the story.
Yeah, I should have. I'm great. I'm glad you reminded me because I should have saved it for a segment on the show. So I get a call from Chuck D, man. I'm cleaning my dishes, and as you can imagine, I'm making this face. I'm like, Chuck D's hit me at work. Like, hey, I'm not mad, but I'm like, I need to dry my hands. So I put the dishes down. I grab a towel. I'm like scrambling. It must have been
because guys, we had Chuck D on our show.
Right. Show. Okay, yeah. So exactly right. So we had him on our show during the finals, right? And for him to call me, I haven't heard from him since. We spoke a little bit after we released the episode, but that was about it. I pick up the phone finally before it was about to stop ringing, and Chuck's like, "Josue, man, I'm hitting the bank right now. I got you. You know what I mean? We're going to, don't worry about it. I'll get that for you." And I'm like, "Bank? What?" He does the classic, like, when you can hear someone look at their phone and then they like that. He goes, "I think I called the wrong Josue." I go, "The wrong Josue?" I go, "Chuck, you got 2 Josues in your phone? That's incredible." Max, I've met 2 Josues my entire life.
Oh my God.
One of them was an Uber driver who pulled up. And he was not as excited as I was when I told him. I'm like, Josue, what up, man?
Oh my God, that was so
Portuguese
funny.
dude.
And
The other
that just
Josue
shows
I
you
met is in
how
Honduras.
our podcast works, man. That the people that we have relationships with and we talk to,
Yeah,
it's so cool, man.
it is, man.
We got to get back with our guy Ice Cube.
Oh, man, that was fun
And
too, man.
that was a great episode, but also to see him walking into L.A. into the stadium,
Yo, singing the classic track. Yeah, man.
yeah, that was so cool, man. But yeah, but your Josue story, that was so funny. I think
Man,
to
you know
have
what's
one
funny
of
too,
our
Max?
guests to hit you back, and you got Josue, and he told me he owed you. I got some money for you. I know you're based
Apparently,
in LA. Huh? What are you talking about?
apparently that's his electrician. He's got a Josue, the electrician now, helping him out.
I mean,
Man.
that story is no different from the one of my ex teammates, Norm Nixon, who we're going to try to hook up with Debbie Allen and have her on as a
Yeah,
guest.
man, that'd be great.
And Norm Nixon's married to Debbie Allen, the great entertainer, the great actress and director. And all of a sudden, one night, I get a call from get a call from Norm Nixon around about Christmas time. I said, it's like, Norm, it's like, yo, he said, yo, Cedric the Entertainer, what's going on? I said, yo, Norm, I said, what's happening, man? How you doing? He goes, yeah, I got 2 tickets for you tonight for this show. I said, what show? He said, a show in Long Beach. I said, I'm here in Boston, Long Beach, California. I'm like, what are you talking? I said,
Across
Norm,
the country.
I know, what are you talking about? He said, oh shit, I thought this was Cedric the Entertainer. I said, this is Cedric Maxwell. He goes, oh man, I'm sorry, man. I had these tickets for Cedric the Entertainer, and I just got you confused having the Cedric in my phone book. So yeah,
Yeah,
those
that's
things
hilarious.
do happen with mix-ups with people and situations. It's kind of crazy.
You know what's funny too, Max? We ended up talking. We were talking hoops for like 20 minutes, and he's just like, "Yo, I gotta call Josue, man. Yo, I gotta go." So I was like, "Yeah, man, do your thing." My bad. He never called
Wow.
the dude. He got called, but yeah, that was funny, man. That was funny. But anyways, so yeah, as the Celtics picked up their first loss at TD Garden this season, the Oklahoma City Thunder picked up an L on the road against the Nuggets. Now, it's going into this game, I feel like people were wondering how long can they stretch this winning streak? 7 in a row. The first time in franchise history they reached 6, right? Mm-hmm. Stretch it to 7. It's the first time in NBA history because they beat every team by at least 12 points or more, right? Mm-hmm. So going into this game, I'm like, man, the Nuggets, they handed them the home opener loss. They're not going to forget that. These are the 2023 NBA champions with Jokic and. Man, Westbrook turned back the clock, Max. Dropped damn near 30 and went off. And it was a heck of a game. Yeah, man, it was a heck of a game. So,
well, I think there's some parity, and it's starting to be in the league. And and I'm not saying anything about the Celtics until they're at full strength. Till you bring back Porzingis, right. You have Brown back. This team's a hell of a team. They could repeat, but again, it's going to be the health of their team. Hopefully this thing with Jaylen Brown doesn't last for so long as abductor or it's something to do with, the area down there that people have been, stomach area. So, right. One of those things that could happen, like Vancouver down in
Orlando.
Yeah. He dropped damn near 50, almost had a 50 triple-double. And, he's been out, and Orlando's been suffering since. So when you're missing key players, other guys have to step up. And with the Celtics the other day, there were some guys who played really well. But if Drew Holiday had just a Drew Holiday game, Celtics would have probably won that thing easily. But, those things do happen in a league like this. So see the Celtics, can they bounce back now?
PrizePicks is the best place to get real money sports action. They got over 10 million members and billions of dollars in award winnings. PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all, so you just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up 100 times your cash. Your game all season long. on Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best way to get into the action in over 30 states, including California, Florida, Georgia, and Texas. Prize Picks is the only real money daily fantasy platform with an injury insurance policy, so your lineups stay even if one of your players gets hurt or injured. If your player leaves in the first half and doesn't return, Prize Picks keeps your lineup live. Sign up today and give $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus because it's guaranteed. I think Steph Curry will get more than 4 3-pointers this week, or Anthony Edwards more than 27 points. Cook up some hot takes with your friends and win real money this basketball season. Get your crew to run your game on Prize Picks. Download the app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. And, you know, some of the Prize Picks you could be looking at: Luka Doncic for more than 31.5 points, Steph Curry for more than 4 3-pointers, Anthony Davis more than 11 boards, the freak Giannis for more than 29.5 points. Again, download the app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game.
What do you think is going on with these injuries, man? Like, I know I feel like we reached a point in the season where we start having these conversations, but I can't remember a season like this where we're 2 weeks in and there's just a dozen stars out. You know, teams are missing guys left and right. It's not just a few guys anymore. You know, I feel like every team's dealing with it.
Well, I've said this before, Josue. I think that, you know, either you rest your body or your body is going to rest you.
Yeah.
A lot of times what players do now is they don't rest, during the off season. During the off season for us, when I played, that was a time to, let your body relax, let your body heal, do all these. Well, these dudes go right back into workouts. They go, they have a personal trainer. You don't give your body an opportunity after a long, grueling, like the Celtics, 8 months. Celtics played 8 months. And then, you got these guys lifting weights. You got these guys, working out with the players and all this stuff. And, your body only can take so much. And especially when we think about the older players, a little concerning with me with the younger players right now. But, you're going to have certain injuries when you're in the NBA.
You don't think it's too many games?
Look, we've been playing that many games forever, Josue.
Yeah, I know.
The NBA has been playing that many games forever.
I don't know, though, Max. If you just stretch this thing a week or two, I'm not saying cut the 82. Listen, Max, I'm not saying cut the 82.
Hold on.
But why they got to play 4 games a week, Max?
Let me tell you about it. Well, you're looking at a situation where you're just trying to do timing. Why was it so during the 80s that most guys played 75 to 80 games, 82 games? I played 1 year. I had a chance to play 82 1 year. I missed it because Bill Fish sat me down for a game in Philly and still told me to dress out. But, it was 82 games. That was just a badge of honor. Yeah. But now I think that you look at the players, the players in this situation, and also management will sit a guy down, and not let him play, because these guys are commodities. They're huge commodities when you think about they are conglomerates in themselves. When you have a Jaylen Brown at $300 million, you have a Tatum at $300 million, you can't put that product out there if it's hurt, because then you want to elongate the opportunity for a guy to, further his career. I mean, during my career, Josue, when I first got in the league, the guys were talking about, yo, man, if you can get to 10 years, man, that's magical. And I remember getting to 11, could have played 12, but and I really wasn't taking care of my body. Now you look at the guy, when you get in his 10th year, you look at a Jayson Tatum, it's like, man, them jokers like, all right, how long are they going to play? How long has Tatum been playing now? He was, 18 when he came in?
19.
18, 19. So 19, what is he now? 24, 20. So he's been in the league 6 years.
Yeah.
So when he gets to the 10th year mark, he's going to be at 28 or whatever it is, 28 years old.
Not even 30.
So, the guys have started earlier. and just pushing their bodies. That's what they're doing. They're pushing their bodies, and you don't have the guys who've been in college for 4 or 5 years. Some of these guys with COVID
Yeah.
were in college like 5 years. Now, if you're a real player in this league, the guy Cooper Flag, is that his name, down at Duke?
Yeah, top prospect.
How long is he going to be in? How long is he going to be in college?
One and done. You already know.
Well, what you gonna do? You got one. You got your books. How many classes do you go to? Do you go to the first semester?
I don't think they go like that, man.
If that was me, bro, that was me. I'd be going through that first semester, and that's it. I'll take the classes that are going to make me eligible to play. After that, I'm not going to really care one way or the other. I'm getting ready for my NBA career, where I'm going to be. They're saying with Flag, they're projecting right now it's going to be someplace in the area of $1 billion that he's going to make while he's in the league. So that, I know people, you got to get your education. Education is good, and get your education so you can, guard your money. But when you're talking about $1 billion, like Jayson Tatum in his career, probably going to make someplace near $1 billion, if not more. So what I'm saying is that teams are trying to take care of their players, and they put them in situations where they're not going to play them as much if they have small nagging injuries.
Right. Yeah, it's a big investment, Max. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, at least for some of these guys, you got the NIL opportunities. You can kind of make your money on the side. Like that wasn't something available for players. So there was a time where players were like, man, I'm not going to miss out on this check. You know what I mean? Like maybe they weren't ready basketball wise or whatever, or maybe they were just maybe a year or two away from really being like a top 20 or a lottery pick. But instead they're like, you know what? I'm just going to enter the draft now because I'm trying to get to the money. So yeah, I'm with you. So, but players like Cooper Flag don't have to worry about that.
Let me just say this, Joe, so we understand it. What the hell would Cedric Maxwell would have been like in college making $1 million? Who could have told him what? I mean, are you serious? How are you even coachable at that point? That you making $1 million, that you making, you getting checks with $30,000 and $40,000 every month or whatever.
Max has been giving Finch attitude, Coach Finch attitude. Man, Coach, I'm not feeling it today, man.
At 18, I came into college at 17. At 17 years old, coming from Kinston, where I was working, on a farm one time for $2 an hour, working $1.50 an hour, working in the field, working in tobacco. Now all of a sudden you're telling me I got millions of dollars at my disposal? That I can't even fathom how that works. It's beyond me. I'm surprised that more players aren't getting in trouble in college because of the opportunities. And what was that? I think it's the dude Travis Hunter, who plays for Colorado for Coach Prime, Deion Sanders.
Oh, okay.
Gave his girlfriend $1 million. Gave her $1 million and gave his girlfriend $1 million fucking dollars, Josue. Josue, do you hear what I'm telling you? He gave his girlfriend $1 million. Who wants to be a millionaire?
That's like the greatest line you could drop. Pickup line you could drop.
Yo, I'm gonna change your life. I'm gonna give you $1 million. Can you just when you're doing one of these? I've seen this thing where they do on TikTok sometimes or Facebook, where somebody has one of these and they're talking. Their son is talking, and the family's in the background. They got it on speaker, and they said, "In your account right now is $1.5 million," and the family goes, "What? What'd you say? You got how much?" Yeah. So I can't imagine what if you'd have been just for instance, put you in that. You're at home and you're in front of mom and pops and you're going through your account and you got it on speaker and it said Josue, you in your account right now is 1.5 million. What would your pops do?
Oh man.
Josue, are you
That's
selling drugs? What are you doing? What are you doing? So,
He probably asked me. You know what? He probably asked me if that's real. Like that's probably like, are you messing with me? Like that's probably the first thing he would ask. Like, you trying to put me on? You know, am I being recorded right now? You gonna put
oh
this on
my,
the internet? That's probably what
that
he
would
would.
have been the funniest thing if you did that in front of your brother Joel. You'd have been like, what? What? You would. I know you. You couldn't hold the laughter, so it
Nah,
would have
man.
been. That would have been
I couldn't
crazy.
be. You know what it is? I can't make eye contact. If I make eye contact, I'm gonna start laughing. Man.
Oh,
So I'd probably look away. Or something.
that's crazy. That's great.
I'll be honest, there is nothing like taking in a live basketball game, especially in the fourth quarter, down the stretch, being in that atmosphere and seeing it all play out right in front of you. There's nothing like it. And with the basketball season back, there is no other place better than Game Time. That doesn't just have you covered for sports, but any type of concert or other events going on in town, you don't want to miss out with Game Time, especially with their new feature called Game Time Picks, and that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. You can pick an upcoming game on the app, you can browse through the seats because of Game Time Picks. Super deal gives you the absolute best price around. And you can even customize your spot, so you know exactly what to expect ahead of the event. The curated deals make it easier to find the best price on great seats, and that's my favorite part of the app. Plus, you get the seat views before you buy, lowest price guaranteed, event cancellation protection, which is big, right? Job loss protection, etc. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Again, create an account and redeem the code CLNS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time.
All right, let's go on, man. Let's get to the real nitty gritty.
Yeah, man. Speaking of crazy, man, like you said,
Joel Embiid, man.
Joel Embiid. So Joel Embiid, 3-game suspension, man. We'll wrap up with this. Just a crazy situation, and I would love to hear your input on it because we spoke briefly before we started recording, and I was like, let's just save this conversation for this actual segment now. Official word from the NBA: 3-game suspension for getting physical with the Philadelphia Inquirer columnist Marcus Hayes. Now, Marcus Hayes had wrote a controversial column that talked about not only Embiid's kid and being a hero and you know showing up to work every day, but he mentioned his late brother, and I think that was the part that hit a nerve. Reportedly, Embiid approached the reporter about it. There was a back and forth, and he shoved him. The initial report actually came from our guy who we had on at the beginning of the regular season, Keith. Our boy Keith. He was gonna, man. He had so much going on. I was trying to get him on, but I'm sure we'll catch up with him at some point. But he initially reported that Joel Embiid had assaulted a reporter. So people kind of like, wait, what was going on? So he clarified, said, look, he was shoved. The news came out days later. Joe Dumars from the NBA spoke out about it. And he said, I quote, mutual respect is paramount to the relationship between players in the media and the NBA. While we understand Joel was offended by the personal nature of the original version of the reporter's column, interactions must remain professional on both sides and can never turn physical. Max, what's your take on this?
You know, just the way Joe Dumars explained it. You're gonna have somebody talk about your family and a dead person in your family, somebody who's passed away. Isn't there a line that you've crossed as a man? I mean, screw all this professionalism. But if I had somebody talking about somebody who had died in my family, man, you asking for an ass kicking. And first of all, we can be professional, but also there's a common courtesy being professional about what you might say to a guy or what you might write about a guy.
Right.
And you mighty ballsy if you still gonna come up in somebody's locker room and insult a guy like that, and the guy's already talked about it, but you're gonna show up anyway, dude. No. I said, that was Joel Embiid wrong? Yeah, he was. He shouldn't have got physical. if that had been me, would I got physical? Yeah, I would have. Yeah, it would have been. You're talking my emotion would have came out. Yeah, and
Especially because it
Joel,
depends what the guy says back, right? If you said something
yeah.
that you really don't like, it's
Then,
gonna get
then,
physical.
then he say it again. Say it again. I think that's
Mm-hmm.
what you were telling me. Say something
Oh no,
again.
yeah. So apparently, okay. So this is what it was. He said, and I quote: "The next time you bring up my dead brother and my son again, you're going to see what I'm going to do with you, and I'm going to have to live with the consequences." Embiid said to Hayes in the confrontation. The back and forth is where I guess what Hayes said, according to this report, is, "But you do," and I guess that's when he pushed him. But there's another report saying that there was sort of a back and forth. So I don't know if there was an extension, before that or after the fact. But that's what led up to him getting physical.
Well,
And
I think we have to.
PR got involved and separated the two.
Yeah, I think we have to understand one thing is that players are humans, and there's only so much stuff that you can say to one before this guy gonna go the frick off.
Right.
So I don't. I get it. I understand Joel Embiid being mad. He shouldn't have been mad, but he's also, a player. And he's
Right.
probably frustrated now that he's not playing and people are talking. He said, as much as I do for this bleeping organization in this city and showing up for NBA stuff, and all of a sudden now that, you're going at me, not as a basketball player, but you're stepping across the line by
Right.
talking about my child and also talking about my dead brother. There's a fine line that you cross. In the black community, there's a fine fucking line that you cross. You don't talk about.
I mean, Max,
go, Josue.
you don't need to say that to drive your point. Like
Look,
that's that's
don't
ridiculous.
talk about people. What is it? How's it go, Josue? Don't talk about nobody's mama.
Oh
You
yeah.
don't. You don't. That was. I think that was the line you were telling me when I was dealing with Draymond, and somebody asked me a question. I said, "Well, go ask your daddy."
Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah. Don't say mama.
I ain't said nothing about that boy's mom. It's like that would have been like, oh shit. I've been like, okay.
That could be misconstrued. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Wait, Max, how you know that man's mom? What do you mean by that?
There's a line.
Yeah.
That the reporter crossed, and things happen. But 3 games, I thought they would give him 1 game, but 3 games is really sending the message. Considering Joel Embiid's salary, you're probably saying $3 million. So it would be, let me see, 3 games would be 82. They get paid for 82 games. So that's what you're going in. That's what you're finding.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever he get per game, say if he's making $150,000 a game, probably make more.
Yeah, I got the total amount here. So it says Embiid will lose 1 million. Wait, yeah, 1 million. 1 million. So yeah, a little over $1 million.
Yeah. So Joel Embiid. So that's telling you that Joel Embiid is making some crazy amount of money. So 3 games at whatever. So he's making
63.
He's making almost
63,000.
He's making over $300,000 a game. It's something like that.
Right.
Which the average person can't fathom. I can't fathom. Hell, I played in the NBA. I can't even imagine that. And I what my salary was, but still, just that's something that Philly has to deal with. He has to deal with. Will he come back and apologize? I think it has to be mutual on both sides. I think those two need to get together, sit down, break bread, and let somebody kind of work that thing out, because for me, the reporter was just as wrong for what he said about Joel Embiid.
Absolutely.
I'll hark it back to, there was a guy named Howard Manley when I first got into broadcasting. And, because I had my Southern dialect and I was speaking a little slower, and radio is really tough to do, but he made this, he just came on one time and wrote an article and said, Cedric Maxwell, he's the professor of Ebonics.
Of Ebonics. Wow.
Of Ebonics. And this was a black man. And I went someplace, I was at a show one day, And, people walking up to me talking and said, and this guy walked up to the, yo, man, stuck his hand out. I said, I'm Howard Manley. And I put my hand out like, whoa, yo, man. And well, should I just punched his ass for saying some, stupid shit like that about me? But for me, that kind of stuff only made me better as a broadcaster because, look, I'm going to prove to you how good I am as a broadcaster. Just after a little time. If you didn't do this directly, there's a little, it's a process. I didn't go to school to learn this. You just thrown in as a broadcaster. Because I could talk. It's different doing radio than there is doing television. So,
but look at that though, Max. It's been over 20 years, and you remember that guy's name, right? Like, that's the thing. Like, you don't.
I do remember his name.
You remember? I mean, not you, but like reporters in general doing this job. People don't forget how you make.
What do you think? What do you think? You're funny? Was that supposed to be funny?
What do you mean?
When he said, you were, you're the professor of ebonics. You writing that down. As a black person, how would you attack another black person?
I'd probably, to be honest with you, I'm keeping it on like we do here. I'm going to be like, yo, you trying to pander to a specific audience here? You trying to make me paint a picture as like I'm this, I don't have the credentials or the knowledge for this job because of the way I speak or because, that's how I would have said it, especially what's this, 2002 or so, early 2000. I'm like, is this how you try to impress the white folks? Like straight up, like, that's what I would have said. Is that what you said?
No, I didn't. But that made me think about exactly what you said.
Right.
And for that to happen, and what kind of pictures does that paint in Boston for that to happen and for your editor to let that go?
Right. I mean, that's another part of this too, Max. The Philadelphia Inquirer. They've released that.
Your editor has to approve stuff. But what does it say about your editor when you go to your editor and say, I'm going to write this about this dude? And it gets through copy. Other people read your copy, it just doesn't go in. So I was very disappointed and disillusioned. And if I was that dude, and if it had been something different, suppose he had said something about my mom or somebody who had passed away. Now what position am I in? And I think that's the same thing. You look at Joel Embiid. The locker room is supposed to be a professional place. It's supposed to be a house. It's supposed to be a family. And it's going to be mutual respect between players and the media. That's how it's supposed to go. But there's a line that you just don't cross. And I do feel like that, this reporter crossed the line that, he shouldn't have crossed.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, Max. Well, looks like Embiid is scheduled to make his debut. This is actually going to be against the New York Knicks, and it's the NBA Cup. It's an NBA Cup game, so that he's slated to make his season debut against the Knicks next week. So, that's going to put that much more pressure in this situation. Hey, take it out on the court, Joel. I'd love to see him ball out, drop 40 or something, a little 40 piece on Cat, in the Knicks, send a little message.
Yeah,
but I don't know, man. Philly's different. I'd love to get Keith Pombay's perspective at some point. I know his phone must have been ringing off the hook at the time when he kind of just dropped that bombshell before the whole news broke. He essentially broke the story because he saw it firsthand. So, shout out to Keith Pompey for sure because we
gotta get up with Keith because I love it when we make Keith go real.
He was already, remember going into the season, he was already like, I don't know about these guys.
When Keith was on that broadcast that time, we used some line. I'm like, what kind of black line was that you used?
That's right.
Some word he used or some way he phrased it. I'm like, what? What do you say?
And then you got to admit it. You're like, no, what, Max, you're right, man. I shouldn't have said that.
I'm sorry, man. My bad. I almost pulled this black card going, yo, man. Yo.
You forgot what show he was on.
Come on, man. Yeah, you must think you're doing, inside the NBA or some show. No, this is the Cedric Maxwell Podcast. This is what do we do, Josue? What do we do on this podcast?
Keep it 100.
Keep it on the 100.
He went on for like a minute or two, and you went all the way back. Like, what was that line you said? You didn't forget
We're gonna keep it on the 100 here. And, guys, we again, we
Absolutely.
so appreciate you guys who've been on, who followed us on our podcast and stuff like that. We're so appreciative of what you've done for us, and again, shout out to all the people who come up, and talk to me about the podcast, but in particular, the young woman in Atlanta that came and shouted out to me. Definitely would like to get your information. Want to send you one of those. How about them damn Celtic T-shirts?
That'd be perfect.
That was you. It was really cool meeting you, and took a picture with you, and watched the Celtics dismantle the Hawks down there. It was crazy.
Yeah, they did. And we'll see how they continue on after that loss against the Warriors. I'm not too worried about it, but a little adversity would be good for these defending champions. Nothing wrong with that. I'm sure Joe Mazzulla appreciates that for sure.
Well, here's one thing before we go that I'll ask you. The Celtics are going to probably go to the White House and meet with Joe Biden on, I think it's the 22nd, 20th of this month. So let me ask you a question. Let me pose to you this question.
What you got, Max?
Is this the last time an NBA team will be in the White House for the next 4 years?
Probably. Probably. Man, I just thought of all the potential champions in the next 4 years.
Absolutely, bro.
I don't see any of them going.
Absolutely. And I don't mean that, not disparaging, but, this is probably the last time that an NBA team, WNBA team, NFL team, baseball to any sports team is going to be in the White House for the next 4 years. So you better get on board right now. And the Celtics might be. Just put it this way: they might be the last team.
Tatum, Jaylen, get all the pictures you can get. Make sure you have a time of your life there, because
Josue, we're gonna keep it on the 100. This is the last call for alcohol. Okay, this is at the club way back in the day when they come on going.
The lights coming on.
Last call, get your drinks in. This is the last call for alcohol. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, this is at a black club when you. About 2:00 in the morning, everything's about to end, and they're finna shut down the bar. They will come on and they will make that announcement. Last call for alcohol.
And then there's always that one bartender being like, or bouncer being like, "You ain't got to go home, but you got to get the hell out of here." That's gonna do it for this episode of Cedric Maxwell Podcast. He's Cedric Maxwell. I'm Josue Pavon. We'll see you guys next week.
What's going on, everyone? It's Josue Pavon here. If you made it this far, that means you really enjoyed this video. Make sure you follow all of our social media platforms at CelticsCLNS, and of course, follow us here on YouTube.